Howdy, this is Mackenzie Franklin from SideGame LLC here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Today we're going to be organizing Viticulture Essential Edition, designed by Jamie Stonemaier, Alan Stone, and Morten Modrad Peterson, and published by Stonemaier Games. This is a fully sleeved, fully expanded game that has no lid lift that's organized to get gameplay started as soon as possible. It includes all of the content for Viticulture Essential Edition up to the newest Viticulture Wine Crate and Viticulture World Cooperative Expansion. If you have any questions about what you see here, please let me know down in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please make sure that you do. It is the best way to help us grow. Before we begin, I do want to make a quick mention about the included insert. First off, we've gone ahead and removed this piece from the insert as we're not going to be using it. It's mainly used for the original Viticulture and some of the components that were cut during the moving from the original to the Essential Edition. So we've gone ahead and removed this. You can recycle it if need be. The last thing I want to mention has to do with the suggested layout by Stonemaier Games. If you take a look at their website, and I'll leave a link in the description below, you can find their original intent for the Viticulture Wine Crate organization system. We've changed the places of a lot of things and moved some stuff around to help get gameplay started and facilitate the game throughout the course of it. If you have any questions, once again, please let me know down in the comments below. With all that being said, let's get started organizing Viticulture Essential Edition. First off, we lift the lid, and inside you'll see that we have all of our boards on top. We have all of our different player boards for the game, as well as your two competitive game boards for Tuscany and for the base game. Up next, we have all of the different paper components for the game, including your rulebook, your rules reference, as well as your Tuscany rulebook, and then a nice printout that's going to help you track your progress on the Tuscany solo mode. Once again, I'll leave a link in the description below where you can find a copy for this. We also have the new rulebooks for Viticulture World, as well as the new Viticulture World Automa. In this bottom right corner, we have all of your mamas and papas. This is going to store all of your new mamas and papas from Viticulture World, but everything is in just one single burger token box here. We use a burger token 60 count sleeves box to store all of our cards here, but if you'd like, you can simply just use a plastic bag. They serve the same purpose. Now's a good time to talk about the sleeves we use for all the standard sized cards in this game. We use the Ultra Pro Matte Deck Protector sleeves, standard clear. I really like the way that these handle and shuffle, and they're my preferred sleeve brand. Once again, I'll leave a link in the description below for all of the things that we use for this video. And our last board here is our Viticulture World Cooperative board. And that brings us to what's essentially the Viticulture World section. This large insert is going to have all of the components needed for Viticulture World, so if you're playing the competitive version, you can just remove this and set it to the side. Let's lift off that plastic cover, and on the left side here, you'll see that we have all of our continent decks for the game. I like to keep the larger continent decks in this front section because it's going to keep the lid on a little bit more snugly. In addition, you have room to put your introductory first game version of Green Gully that comes with the promo pack, but everything should fit in its own slot here. On the right side here, we have all of our innovation tiles, including our rectangular ones and our oval ones, and underneath these rectangular tiles, we have our event token as well as our influence token, which you'll need for each game of Viticulture World. And in this last section, we have all of your components for the new Automa, including two new tiles that are going to replace some of the actions, as well as two new replacement innovation tiles, marked with this little robot in the corner. You'll also have a variety of cards that the Automa will be using, once again marked with that little robot in the corner here for some that are specific to the different continents, and then the remainder of the cards. There's a nice reminder in the Automa rulebook for the components that are specific to it, but all of these will fit in that bottom right section, and you'll only need them when you play that solo mode. So let's return all of our solo components back to this bottom right corner, and that's everything in the Viticulture World tray. Let's go ahead and put that to the side for now. And that brings us to our main trays that are going to store the majority of our every game components. Let's start off in this middle section with our player components. In each of these trays, you're going to have 3 different colors represented, with all of your base game and Tuscany components. Just simply put them into each of these wells, and when the player is ready, they'll scoop out their components as needed. And we'll do the same for the other 3 colors. To the left of the player components, you'll have a tray that you'll put in the center of the table that will serve as a bank. This is going to include room for all of your metal Lira tokens, as well as your glass upgrade tokens. These are going to be used for grape and wine. And then in this last section, you'll have all of your setup components for if you're deciding to use these special workers. You've got those with that nice little pattern on them, your grape token, as well as your seasonal worker. So put that in a central location for all players. And in this bottom right section, we're going to have the remainder of our components. We'll lift off that plastic lid, and you'll see that we have all of your boards if you're deciding to play with the orange cards. Underneath those orange building boards, we have a silica gel packet for freshness, and then the majority of our small cards. In this middle section, you're going to have your vine and order cards, your purple and green, and you'll be using these every single game. To the left and the right, you're going to have all of your visitor cards, separated by where they're from. These are all the visitors from Rhine Valley with this distinct back. You'll go ahead and have the blue and the yellow cards like so. And on the right side, you'll have the remainder of your visitors with all of this field background. Once again, your yellow and your blue cards. I do want to mention now that you'll need to be putting in some replacement cards when you integrate the new Viticulture World Expansion. Some of the cards will have these black borders. You'll need to find their exact copies and remove them from the game. That way, if you know you draw a white card, you can play it in the cooperative mode. And if you draw a black card, you just simply discard it and draw a new one. This way, you're not going to have to fix your decks every single time you play. You just simply discard it and continue without any major interruptions. Now's a good time to talk about the smaller sleeves that we use. We use the Game Plus clear sleeves, mini European size. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can find some sleeves for your copy of the game. These are going to fit all of your smaller cards. In this middle section, covering some other components, you'll have your field cards. They indicate the vine value, how much they're worth when they're sold, and you'll flip them when you've actually sold your fields. Now, it's up to you whether you want to deal these out at the start of the game, but the player boards themselves will actually tell you the vine values on them, and the money value is just whatever that vine value is. So you can either deal them out, or you can just start the game and give these out when you actually do end up selling those fields. Underneath those fields, you'll have your blue and yellow hats that you'll need for the Viticulture World Expansion. Only pull out those that you'll actually need based on your player count. And that brings us to our last section. We have all of our Automa cards from the base game here, indicated by this super fancy back. All of your orange building cards, for if you decide to use that module. And our special worker cards. You're going to pull these out and use them in tandem with those little wooden meeples from earlier. That way you know which different meeple is going to associate to which special ability. So go ahead and put those in a central location as well after picking two. And that's everything in the box. Let's go ahead and pack it up. We'll start in this upper right corner with our special ability cards, our orange building cards, and our base game Automa cards. We'll put our field cards on top of our blue and yellow hats. We'll put our order and vine cards into this middle section of this bottom insert, followed by our two sets of visitor cards on the left and right sides like so. We'll put a silica gel packet in there for freshness, followed by our orange building module boards, and then cap it off with its plastic cover. We'll put our two player component trays in this middle section like so, followed by your communal resource tray on this left side. On top of that, we'll put our Viticulture World tray like so, followed by our Viticulture World board, as well as all of your mamas and papas. We'll then place all of our paper components, followed by our two competitive game boards. And lastly, we'll put in all of our player boards. And that is organizing a Viticulture Essential Edition. If you have any questions about what you saw here, please let me know down in the comments below. How do you organize your copy of Viticulture Essential Edition? What do you think of the new Viticulture World expansion? What's your favorite continent to explore? Which do you prefer, the competitive or the cooperative version? We'd love to hear what you think. But thank you so much for watching. SideGame Strong.